What's up, guys? Today I want to go over one of the best new techniques I've learned recently, and it has to do with standard deviation levels, which is kind of complex and everybody goes right past it, but trust me, it's one of the best new things I've learned. Alright, so this is basic market structure 101 pretty much. It's what you learn in the market maker model. There's all different types of confluences in this. But today we're talking about specifically, this Fibonacci technique that I've learned. That, always here's the fib, and we have a couple levels on there. I added, one of my own that's deviated from ICT, which is the midpoint of the OTE here, which I kind of liked to see. It's not really exactly midpoint, but works. And this market structure here, pretty much I want to get into, you need to find the manipulation leg. Now, a lot of people confuse this leg here as a manipulation leg, which is like completely incorrect. This is considered distribution leg. And then you get the second leg reaccumulation, second leg distribution usually, and so on and so forth. But this is a manipulation leg. It's pretty much the last leg that takes out the dealing range. Whether it's a buy or sell, it's the last leg that takes out the liquidity. So pay attention to this leg here. What you would usually do if you want to project is take that manipulation leg that takes out the last point of liquidity and extend it. So these are considered projections. For some reason, I found that the most volatile zone for these projections would be this 2 to 2.5 level. I have no idea why, but usually when you do it, it lines up with liquidity. That's how you know, okay, this is actually a good point to target, because these would line up with liquidity and you could leave runners some time for these. Anyway, don't use it as an entry tool. Just use it as purely confluence. If there's like a fair value gap in here, or clearly you have this low, high, lower, low, higher, high setup, or high, low, higher, high, lower, low. So you could definitely look for breaker blocks inside setups coupled with fair value gaps, and all a breaker block really is a failed order block. And if there's fair value gaps, that's how you would use your entry setup. Also using your narrative. And don't forget this higher time frame PDO, right? You need some form of higher time frame confluence, or else no matter how clean the structure is, it doesn't work all the time. So always have some narrative. Now there's a lot of hindsight traders, which I don't like. So I'm going to try to hold myself a little bit accountable here and portray something that I believe is going to become a manipulation leg. And in order to understand manipulation legs, you need to understand the power of 3, which is very important, something that the market's doing at all times. So always, know the power of 3. Take note if you see it. Pretty much accumulation, manipulation, distribution. A lot of people know, but let's just say here you have some form of accumulation, and then you have some form of, could be a form of manipulation. Now, we don't know if there's some manipulation leg, because it could come down to some 1 hour PDA range, just continue higher, right? The only way we know if this is a manipulation leg is once we get a close underneath this low, we'll anticipate that this is going to be a manipulation leg. Throw the projection on, and you target standard deviation levels all the way down, right? Let's see if we can get into some setups. All right, let's look into this chop. This kind of looks like candle range theory with how it sweeps out this low and displaces higher. We could definitely take a look at the 5. Okay, so I like this. Here, I'm not going to pay attention to this low. I like this because we can clearly see some form of set sell side, set buy side. We're in that dealing range. We take out this form of sell side liquidity, and we take out this form of higher time frame. We accumulate, boom, drop ourselves down. See how we fall down, and we find sell side liquidity, straight inversion. Now, what is this? That's an accumulation range. This is a manipulation range. Sorry. Then you have the distribution range. So another AMD setup, but how we use standard deviation in our projection is that we take this last down leg here, which would be right here, and a lot of people measure from wick to wick. I don't personally. I like measuring from body to body. That's just what I found in my learnings. And we draw it out, and it lines up with I said liquidity. 2.5 falls off. The most volatile area targets another form of sell side. So it takes what it needs, reverses. That was great. Now, how do you use this to find an entry? Well, we could use first inversion fair value gap, regular fair value gap, breaker block. Here. There's so many confluences within this one setup. Low, high, lower low, higher high. There's a breaker inside of this. Could have found the entry here. Entered in, stop underneath the low. Sent it to the buy side. Or you can enter it in here with another internal model using the projection. 1, 2, 2.5. 4, you could leave for runners. Wouldn't have hit. Well, it would have, but you would have gotten stopped out before. And that's how you could use standard deviation levels. If you have any questions, comment down below. Thanks for watching.